Oh, yeah. Hey, it's Kevin. Actually, I did check it. It just now went live on Facebook. So, hey, Kevin, how you doing, buddy?
It's a crazy time right now. We are 1 week into this campaign, and it is flying and occupying my every second. But that's great. That's good news. How are you?
Oh, yeah. I'm fabulous. I'm gearing up for my campaign. You know, the stress and the pressure of that as it gets closer. I'm going to throw your campaign up on the screen here if I hit the right button so people can see it. It is, I keep wanting to say Clown Town, but it's Vicious Circus. Where are we? Let's get us both back on the screen there with this thing. Here we go. The Vicious Circus. With 6-issue box set. Weird clown horror. I gotta ask, why the longer name? Is the longer names good for the Kickstarter, or it's just
you gotta hit those search keywords. You gotta hit those search keywords.
Oh, I should have put Robot Rock Band in mind. Anyways, yeah, looks like you are just a few bucks away from hitting $8,000. That's awesome.
It's crazy. It's our biggest campaign ever. We expected to do well. Just this property has gained a lot of momentum, and we expected to do well. But super excited about where it's at right now.
And this is your oldest property too. This is how it all began. Well, almost, sort of all began, correct?
Yeah, for the most part, this was our first full form comic. We did like a landscape style web comic for about a year before this. But as far as a regular format comic, a long form comic, yeah, Circus was the first one. You're right. It was first called Clown Town, and then we changed that.
And so before Clown Town, what? Whoops, sorry about that. Let me get that off the screen there. I'm screwed up already. Before Clown Town, what was it? What was it called?
We did
before Clown Town, I should say. I'm sorry.
We had a webcomic called The Blind Eye. It was like a superhero noir type of thing set in post-hurricane New Orleans type of setting. It's a lot of fun. One day we'll get back to those characters, but
well, now
not this year.
That was post, not Katrina, but because that would have been before Katrina. It was just a random.
No, Katrina was at 2005. It was post Katrina.
Wow, gosh, time flies, man. So it was your post Katrina New Orleans comic.
Yeah, and where we live near Mobile, Alabama, we get a lot of hurricanes too. It's a very similar environment to New Orleans, so we've lived through that stuff, including twice this year. So it's.
Well, I think a good chunk of the country got hit by Katrina, if I remember correctly, or a good chunk of the Southeast.
At one point or another, yeah.
Yeah. Now I don't know if you want to do it now. You just sent me something really cool. I just finally went through all this clicking you've seen me doing was me getting it set up to put it up on the screen. Do you want to reveal this? This thing.
Our mutual friend and art partner Oscar Pinto did the new cover series for Vicious Circus, the release that we're launching right now. And he only had one more to do when we launched last Sunday. That was issue 2, featuring our little short clown, Stumpy. And it's ready. He literally at 7:58 p.m., he sent that to me 2 minutes before we went live. So I shared it over to you to reveal here.
All right, so you ready to do it? You want to show it off to the world?
Let's show it. It's amazing.
All right, let me just get it set up here. Got to hide all the other stuff. And then share. There it is.
There it
that
is.
There's creepy stuff, man.
Stumpy waiting outside the door for whichever unfortunate souls are exiting to his presence. So,
awesome.
Another crazy good job by Oscar.
All right, and how does that?
Go ahead.
How does that? Oh, we already got a question. I'll read it in just a second. How does that relate to the story? I mean, how is that a special variant? Is it just for the Kickstarter? What is that?
Yeah, these are. This is the special set of covers we're just doing for this Kickstarter campaign. We will not repeat them. We are releasing them as a set of 11x17 prints. But in that particular issue 2, something goes on a rampage through a halfway house. And without spoiling more, I'll just leave it to the imagination that those arms coming out of there are the guys that live in that house, halfway house, and they pretty much get what they deserve. So we'll just leave it there.
Good. Good. Heidi Hess says, "Whoa, that's creepy." Yes. Well, it's clown. I keep saying clown town. It's vicious circus. It's creepy killer clowns, but they're on the side of right.
Well, we did differently this time because we launched issue 5, which is a brand new 25-page story leading into the next chapter, Clown or Predator. And so we went back to the first 4 issues and we subtitled that Clown Town. So you're actually not wrong by referring to it as Clown Town. That 4-issue story we're subtitling Clown Town.
And so the new book, is it the start of a new story arc? Or is it just a one-time the Clown or Predator? Is it just one story, or is it the start of a new arc?
It's the start of a 2-issue arc. And that's kind of the model that we're going to use, the 2-issue arcs that run into 48-page graphic novellas, so that we can release those as also single books that are 48 pages.
Very cool, very cool. And now we did get a question from Chuck talking about your Hurricane book. He's asking, did you bring a lot of your own experience or others' experience to the Hurricane comic?
Without a doubt. Born in 1970, went through Hurricane Frederick, one of the biggest storms in U.S. history in 1979 in Mobile. Various storms throughout the 80s and 90s. And just this year, we were with you down in Vero Beach. Hurricane Sally passed through.
That's true.
And it followed us home right to my front door. And we got hit by the eye of that hurricane at my house. It came from Vero Beach to Fairhope, Alabama, and just wrecked our little town. Just wrecked it.
You just kind of drove it with you up there.
It followed us. And so, yeah, definitely all the days without power and going back to the 1970s, 3 weeks without power in the heat and having to get government assistance with food and ice and water at that time. That's the sort of thing that hurricanes bring with them. We definitely brought those experiences to it.
Okay. I mean, you can comment on this if you want. Any of your own experiences brought into these clown comics?
My background is that I'm a psychotherapist by training, and I've worked in mental health for 25 years and at a state psychiatric hospital for 16 years. So you can imagine the stories that I've heard and seen that have been interpreted into this book.
Well, I know
real life horror stories.
You've shared some of your stories with me. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's an outlet for some of those things that I observed and was privy to in that environment. And it's just as wild as you can imagine.
Wow. Well, I'm sure there's some stuff that you probably just should never share from your experiences.
And there's things I won't and don't.
Oh, very cool. So the Kickstarter's going strong. And as we discussed, I'm sure everybody who knows me through social media knows that I'm launching a Kickstarter, Tuesday. Probably should get ready for it, on the 12th. And you've come up with an idea, this crazy concept for this cross promotion for anybody that backs your Kickstarter. Since mine launched the second, we'll have backed yours first. Well, I think we cross over. We figured for 5 days, both of our Kickstarters are live together. But if you've backed Vicious Circus and you come and back us, you're going to get a special reward. And if you're planning on backing the Deep Space Tragedy box set, definitely back Kevin's book, because there is a special treat that we're going to be revealing right now based off this album cover. Correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yes.
The reason we went with an album cover is because of the thematics with Deep Space Tragedy and rock and roll.
Yes.
So that's why, if anybody's wondering why we went with that particular type of homage, it was the robots in Deep Space Tragedy are a band. Yes. So we want to tie into that theme.
And we went back and forth trying to figure out what album cover to pick. And I think it was you that suggested Rumors, which is ironic because, as you know, Heidi Hess, that's one of her favorite albums of all time. She's a huge Fleetwood Mac fan. And
good taste.
Yeah. So do you want to reveal it now, what the picture looks like?
Yeah, let's show it. This is work by our art partner of about 8 or 9 years now, Rando Dixon, here in Mobile, Alabama. There we go.
There it is. So that character is, what's the name of your character? Sideshow?
Stage Fright.
Stage Fright. Stage Fright and Jarrett from Deep Space Tragedy in the same pose as the Fleetwood Mac Rumors image, and this is great. This is when Rando first showed me the pencils on this, or just the line work for this, I was floored with how amazing it looked, and then seeing it with the tones kind of matching that sepia look of the Rumors cover. I think this thing looks great. I don't know. I'm assuming everybody else does too. It's not just me. But
I was of course Rando always delivers when we give him this sort of job, and I sent it to our buddy Vito Potenza in Milan, Italy.
Wow.
Who did the shading and the sepia work, and just 100% of the time knocks projects out of the park. And the same goes for here. Totally got what we were going for and interpreted it perfectly. So yeah, this is going to be a 7x10 print. It will ship with the Vicious Circus campaign boxes. Not just the boxes, but any physical reward. If you don't get a physical reward, we'll send you a JPEG or PDF.
Oh, you will? Okay, cool. I'll do the same.
Yeah.
Then. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Make sure that everybody gets a chance to have it either digitally or physically.
Okay.
And because we're shipping it, and Rando, the artist, lives 45 minutes from me and about 10 minutes from where I work, we will make sure that he signs these, and he'll be happy to do it. I know him. Loves to share his work and to sign his work. And we'll get these out. They'll go with our campaign, and I would imagine these will fulfill probably in early to mid-February.
Okay, cool. Yeah, which means you'll probably ship before I ship. So that's good.
Yeah.
So let that be. So if you back Deep Space Tragedy and you've backed Vicious Circus, you will get this print even before you get the Deep Space Tragedy books, because it will ship with the Vicious Circus, like you said, the physical rewards, any of the physical rewards, especially the box set, because they'll fit nicely in the box. And then also even a digital, PDF we'll send for, just add it with our usual digital rewards at the end of everything. Yep, and that's awesome. And again, it's only if you back both. If you back Deep Space Tragedy, you're not going to get it. If you back Vicious Circus, you're not going to get it. You have to back both of these campaigns to get it. But they're two great campaigns that I think I've already backed your campaign. I've loved Clown Town since day one, way back at Heroes Con in 2010, I think, maybe 2009 even. I've got it, multiple different versions, and I've ordered all of the Oscar Pinto covers just to complete my Vicious Circus collection. And tell me something about. I'll pull up your Kickstarter here. Tell me about some of these reward tiers you have for people to get their application window. I got to pull up the right screen. That's Facebook, but we'll go with that, and I'll just switch it. Boom. Talk to me about some of the reward tiers you have for this awesome project.
Okay. Well, first of all, let me note that we're using the add-ons feature that has been in beta testing. Apparently, they've ended the beta test, but we got in under the wire. And if you back the campaign, once you select your reward tier, it's going to throw up a menu of items that you can pick. Other books from our catalog, extra copies of items from this campaign. And one of the things that I added about 5 minutes before we launched here is Rando Dixon's original art for the Rumors print. It's an item, pencil and ink, 11x17 comic board. This is a giant piece of art, and Rando will sign that for you, and it's a $100 add-on reward.
So for $100, you can get the original artwork for this piece.
That's right.
It's not the shaded. It's just it's his line art.
Pencils and inks. Yep.
Pencils and ink, which are amazing. I wish I had them loaded up, or I'd show them to you now. It's amazing work he did. Like I said, when I first saw it, I was floored by it, and then you showed me the shaded version, and it's even more impressive. But those getting your hands on those pencils and inks for just $100 is a heck of a good deal, if you ask me. I've seen original art for these Kickstarters go for a lot more, and this is a great piece because it is this is the first piece of art ever created that features a Cosmic Times character and a Inverse Press character together. This has never happened before.
Right. And, probably not the last time, but this is the first time for sure.
So this is it. So if you want that first piece of art featuring, I think this is the first time any character from Deep Space Tragedy has ever crossed over into another comic as well. So this is it, man. This is the first time you can get it. It's the original art by Rando Dixon, and like he said, he's going to sign it. He's going to sign the prints too, right?
Yes, I'll get Rando to sign the prints. So
what a great guy.
You get a bonus on everything, and you pay nothing extra for that print.
That's right. We got to stress how that it's a free print. You get it free with just by backing our 2 campaigns. And like I said, the book I've backed Vicious Circus just because I'm a fan of it, not for no other reason. So back to the campaign. What are some of the highlight reward tiers you'd want to talk about that are in this awesome campaign?
Since we had released the first 4 issues, both as single issues and as graphic novels over the years, we want to release issue 5 separately. There's a tier for issue 5, digital or print, and that has a cover by the artist, my partner Amanda Rachels. That's not the Oscar Pinto cover, but at that single issue tier, you can get the Amanda cover. Of course, we have a digital set of the 6-issue Circus run. That's over 160 pages of Vicious Circus material.
Wow.
Including an issue 0 that I haven't talked about yet. 40 pages of 8-page short comics, all drawn by Amanda, written by 4 of those written by me, 1 by our partner Erica Heflin, 2 by Erica, my bad. I forget, she's got 1 in there from previously, and then she's added another one called Odyssey that's brand new material for this campaign.
Wow.
So there's a total of 33 brand new pages, including issue 5 and Erica's new story in issue 0. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
A lot of new material.
That's awesome. And it's all expanding the world of Vicious Circus, of course.
Yeah. Grow in that world. Yeah. Absolutely. And then after the 5-issue set, you can get just the comics. It's 5 comics, 1 through 5, or you can get the box that includes issue 0 and the other 5 comics. We made, in the main body of the campaign, we made issue 0 exclusive to the box. That 40-page issue you can only get with the box unless you get it as an add-on. But the box includes issues 1 through 5, the Oscar Pinto covers, and issue 0. And of course, we autograph everything in there, no matter at no extra cost. We'll have a writer's by the time we get done with this, but that's okay. We love to get these books out in the world. At the $75 tier, you get the same thing, that box, those comics, and on the inside of the box, the inside top of the box, we left a space for Amanda to do a personalized, unique clown drawing for you inside your box. So when you open that box, which is going to be signed and numbered in the order that you pledge, if you're the person to get a box, you get box number 5. But if you, at the $75 tier, you're going to get an actual Amanda Rachel's drawing just for you inside that box.
That's awesome.
The equivalent of a commission.
Wow. And it's in that sturdy box, so it'll be there forever. And every time you open it up, it's right there waiting for you. That is an awesome tier. Awesome.
And then at $100, something completely different that we've never done before.
Yeah, I saw Amanda posing with it today online.
Yeah, we had 25 custom minifigures, Lego compatible minifigures. We had those commissioned, and we got the prototype in the mail the other day, and it looks amazing. This is Stitches. He's like the apex predator killer clown in our comic. He's the most vengeful of the clowns, but he seems to be one of the more popular ones. And at the $100 tier, you get the box, the comics, the Amanda Rachel sketch on the inside cover, but you will also get one of the 25 of these that will ever be created. We will never make these again.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And
that's how it turned out. It looks just like the character.
It's a creepy Lego. I mean, that's kind of the only way to describe it.
That's a high compliment. Having a creepy Lego, I love that.
And so, is this something you're gonna start expanding into, doing some more merch as opposed to just the comics, or is this just an experiment? Or
no, I definitely want to expand into more merch. Just trying to find the right merch that fits the theme of the comic. That's something that we can include in rewards that is cost effective and that people want. That makes it more fun to read.
Sure. Awesome. Very cool.
And enjoy this world. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is if you haven't, and there's you can get the whole catalog. I guess that you have a special tier where you can get everything you guys have done. Is that correct?
Those are add-ons. You can get.
Those are add-ons. Okay.
You can get one or all of those as add-ons, and we've had a lot of success. People are loving the add-ons. They're adding the entire Last Ride of the Four Horsemen series there. They're adding the set of prints that you see. They're adding
that final cover soon. That's the one we revealed earlier.
Right? That's the one we just looked at. Yes. As soon as we're done here, I'm editing that graphic and updating the page. That's right.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome. Well, this, again, I don't know why anybody wouldn't back this campaign. It's and then as an added bonus, if you're a follower of me and you're planning on backing the Deep Space, hey, Rando's on, and you're planning on backing the Deep Space Tragedy box set Kickstarter, this is a great thing to get that awesome print from Mr. Rando Dixon, who's right here right now in the chat. It's a great print. We're gonna put it up again because it's just that awesome. So yeah, you get that if you pick your reward. So let's just go through the whole Kickstarter thing. You pick your reward tier from the Vicious Circus Kickstarter, and then you're given the choice to add more items to it. A second window will pop up, and that's where you can add the prints, the additional books, and all the goodies. Correct?
And you can see the fun people are having with the add-on screen because you can customize what your package gets, put in it at your leisure. It's a really cool thing. I've backed a few campaigns myself to test the add-on feature, and it's super fun to go through it and kind of pick and choose how you want your reward package to look. And that's cool. What I kept in mind when we designed it, and it's worked. People are going crazy with these things. They're adding 1 to 5. We've had some people add as many as 6 add-ons to their package.
Well, that's great.
It makes Kickstarter more fun, and it's already super fun. So it has that extra element of customization that I think people really want.
And then we've taken it together to the next step to cross Kickstarters. So after you've finished pledging to Kevin's Kickstarter, then once Deep Space Tragedy launches, you can pledge to that. And then this print signed by Mr. Dixon will be in your box set.
That's correct. Just that simple.
It's a win-win across the board. So let's chat a little bit about comics if you had a few more minutes. We got some time.
Sure.
Yeah. So I don't know if I ever asked you this question. I've known you for 11 years now. I don't know if I ever asked.
Yeah.
What led you to want to work in comics? I mean, you're a trained psychologist, or a psychiatrist. Or a psychologist? Why would you ever want to work in this field? Obviously, you have to know that sounds crazy.
It only sounds crazy after you start to do it, and then you continue doing it. I guess that's my diagnosis on that. I've loved comics since I was 6 or 7 years old. You remember the spinner racks at convenience stores in the mid 70s, and discovering particularly the Hulk and Iron Man, Spider-Man comics way back then. I love those stories. They were a real release from things that were going on in real life, and just super fun. And Marvel comics at the time had a very different feel. They felt sort of forbidden in a way. There's just an unusual dark element to those comics in the 70s that really pulled me in, and I've been stuck with them ever since. I've never stopped reading comics since I was 6 or 7 years old, and I've always wanted to write. And it took me a long time to actually take that step and do it. And I was 39 when I actually started writing comics. It took that long, but since we started doing it, and we found that people like what we're doing, are interested to see more of it. I made it, and I just kept going.
And that was, you started with, if I'm not, it was a web comic competition, correct?
It was an amateur indie comics competition. It was right around the time American Idol was huge on TV. And so they started with a competition called Small Press Idol.
Yes.
Yeah. In that. And that's what we learned a ton from that. It wasn't always, we still have close friends from that competition. It wasn't always the friendliest environment from some others that were involved, but we learned so much about making comics and making them in a professional way from that. And then we've learned more, of course, over the years as we've gone along. So
sure,
it's definitely an important part of our evolution.
Now, speaking of evolution, our own personal evolution, but as far as the comic industry, I know just from my own personal experience, I was talking in a message board, some private chat or something today, and just thinking about how much things have changed just in the 11 or 12 years we've been doing this. When we did Heroes Con, it was you, I, maybe Tom Hutchinson with Big Dog Inc. a couple years down the road, and there wasn't a lot of guys trying to be quote unquote comic publishers. There was always the guy with his own fanzine or his own ash can stapled together. But do you think it's just the lower ramp to entry that's gotten so many people doing this now? It's almost like we have competition.
I think there's that. I think there's, it's evolved because of the internet and because of crowdfunding to the point that there are no gatekeepers. The only gatekeeper is on your ability to organize and produce something of quality. And that is a gatekeeping function in and of itself. But there are a lot of people who can make decent comics, and that's what you're seeing on Kickstarter. That's why Kickstarter, the comics category, is going to be the top funded and the most successful category on the platform this year. Tyler James was talking about that today. They're just moving in that direction.
I think I heard him talk about that in his podcast. But it also goes beyond that. I mean, I know it's in some circles it's considered poor form to bring it up, but there's just as much success happening on Indiegogo as well, with almost a separate audience, a separate set of creators who are creating there as well. So there's definitely a lot of people bringing their ideas and their creativity to the world through that. But do you think the current stem of popularity of Kickstarter has a lot to do with our current situation where most of us are locked down? We don't have our conventions to go to, which were always a stream of revenue and that. Do you think that's what's leading to a lot more people coming to Kickstarter, or it was just going to happen anyways?
It's been a continual growth arc over the last decade. So I think it was going to happen. I definitely think there was a boost because the loss of the conventions and when Diamond stopped distributing for a while and some of the publishers paused their content for a while earlier in 2020. Definitely caused people to look elsewhere, but I think there's a lot of those people that came to Kickstarter looking for comics are sticking around. We're seeing it. This is our biggest Kickstarter ever, and we're just a weekend.
That's true.
We're already 33% higher than our previous largest funding, and we're only 7 days in as of this moment. So we still got a full week left.
I remember I was driving home from Tallahassee, and I got a text from Heidi. Kevin's Kickstarter is almost $2,000. I'm like, yeah, I'll look at it when I get home. Look when I get home. And by the time I walked into the house, I sat down on my throne to pull up my phone. There it was. You had hit your goal. That was incredible. I just kind of watched it happen. And you launched it, I think 6 p.m. Right?
That's right.
And you were funded by 9 or 10.
We were funded within 3 hours. 2.5, 3 hours we were funded, and we doubled our goal in 36 hours.
That's incredible. That is incredible.
Crazy good week, and hoping to continue that momentum.
Now, do you think a lot of the momentum comes from the fact that you've done Kickstarter for a while, and you always deliver fairly promptly, and that this property has been around for a while? You've had it. It's built up over time. Is that kind of in essence? I'm trying to say you've earned this. This is something you've worked for.
Well, it's partially earning the trust of the audience. It's partially building that audience and then earning the trust as they come on board. It's having a property that people are interested in, and then iterating that property in ways that draw people back. It draws people back, or it draws new people in. And a large part of that is telling a more sophisticated story than we told 10 years ago. And that's what we're going to see with The Clown Predator. It's a more sophisticated story, but it's just as funny. It's just as full of crazy clown horror. But we took and added the Oscar Pinto covers. And these are, to me, high-level art covers.
Oh, yeah.
That bring a different dimension to what you see when you look at the Kickstarter campaign. If you just scroll down that page and see all the art, and you go from Oscar's very stark, very deeply felt covers to Amanda's very intimate art inside the book and her take on the clowns that she created visually. I think it just pulls you in all the way down the page and sells itself.
Oh, okay. That's the interior art here. Now, is this from the new story we're looking at, or is this from one of the older stories?
The first 3 images are from the older stories. I wanted people that had never seen them before to see that interior art. Still love those pages. And then the last one, the one that's on screen now, that's from To Clown a Predator.
Very cool.
Yeah. So, every page popping with killer clowns, just wreaking havoc and raining down punishment on people that deserve it. So
good. I like it. All right. Vengeful Clown. So yeah, we're gonna go through some of this. That's the Oscar Pinto art here, and that's Amanda.
Yeah.
And that's Oscar. We're going back to issue 4. So these were all just created recently then.
Since November. Yeah, he's been knocking himself out. He's got other jobs, of course, other art jobs that he's doing, but he's gone so above and beyond to get these done for us in time.
Well, I remember he had done the Four Horsemen covers for you, and
Yeah.
I think I had reached out. I was like, I need an artist for Decisions. Do you know of any cover artist? And you recommended Oscar, and for me, he did the main cover for Decisions, and I think he knocked it out of the park as well.
He did.
Yeah.
He did.
I believe I'm going to get my new Decision. I have my old Decisions banner back there with Jeff DeCall's cover, which I love. I love Jeff DeCall's art. He's a great artist. But then I'm going to do a second Decisions banner that has Oscar's art on it because he did such a great job and he delivered it. I mean, I know we're not recommending. We're not. This isn't to recommend artists, but I would recommend Oscar for anything. His turnaround time was great. He got it done quickly, which is the same thing. I'm repeating myself, but he did a great job. So that's what's happening now, and it comes with a box set for this, correct? Yeah, numbered box. Yeah. And who did the cover art for the box? I think
that's Amanda's art, and digitally painted by our buddy Gavin Michelli, who does a lot of digital painting on our covers. He's doing the full cover for our new Last Ride of the Four Horsemen trade paperback that's coming next month.
Okay, so would you say next month? That's going to be a Kickstarter. That'll be your next Kickstarter.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're collecting that 112 pages of story into a trade in February. As soon as we fulfill this one, we'll have that one ready to go.
Wow, in February. Wow, you're gonna be hustling. Okay.
It's going to be a hustle going forward. We have a lot of content and big plans. When we were in Vero Beach at our retreat back in September, I sat there one night and wrote out the schedule for the next 3 years.
I remember you were right. You're looking. Hey, Amanda, what do you think? What do you think?
Like feverishly writing, like Winona Ryder and Heather's writing in her diary, just scribbling down. And I still have that notebook and I use it every day. My schedule to adjust the schedule that I wrote that night. But that is the Bible for Inverse Press for the next 3 years.
Very cool. Well, I was thinking about getting together again this year, but I guess we can wait 3 more years to get together.
No, let's do it, man. It sparks so much for me. And cool. I'm going to be honest, I credit that meeting with a lot of what's going on with us right now. It just kept the wheels moving and really motivated us. Very seriously motivated us.
Yeah, what he's talking about, I wish I had a photo of it. I couldn't find the photos. We got together in Vero Beach in September. It was Kevin and Amanda, myself and Heidi and David from InfinityCon, and my son Alex came by too. And we kind of just sat out and did a lot of brainstorming. We talked to Juan Navarro, who has a comic shop down in Miami. Talked to Zach Bassett, who's out in Texas. And it was just kind of I felt that I was in a situation after all that had gone on so far in the year, and I was kind of down. I felt that I was my creativity was at an all-time low, and it was just something we needed to do. And we got together, and I walked out of there jazzed as well. And I'm still kind of riding that juice as best I can. And I know David is too. I actually met with David on the way back from Tallahassee, and he's juiced. So there's something to be said for community getting together. It's I know it's a religious thing to say, but it's called a comic book fellowship. The comic, where it definitely motivates, and I think that's something I miss from conventions. Is that kind of motivation when you talk to people. And you see what they're doing, they tell you what, and you kind of work together. And I know I've been building my Deep Space Tragedy Kickstarter that's going to be launching on the 12th. Just the other day, I was driving and you and I were chatting through Facebook Messenger, and I had to pull over because we was like, blah, 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 blah. And there was a lot of last minute tweaking for the Kickstarter that even I think you said you've just from September to now. Your knowledge in the world of Kickstarter has expanded, and you were happy to share that with me, and hopefully that'll show in my campaign when it launches on the 12th. And of course, when it launches on the 12th, make sure you back both of our campaigns and get that awesome print. Can't stress that enough.
Absolutely. I don't know if you have your reminder link to drop in for people to see and click on.
I guess I could put that in the comments. Speaking of comment, we got
notify link in the comments.
Hey, Owen, how's it going, buddy? Yeah, let me pull that up. The so your next project is now something. When you wrote all that stuff in the notebook, I have to ask: were you planning on? Is that stuff you already had in production, or it's like, hey, I'm going to do 7 more Vicious Circus books, or did you just decide to do new projects then, or was it just? And what's it? I don't want you to spoil the secret, but kind of what's in your notebook?
Well, it was things that I know that I have in production, or things that we've produced that we need to collect or present in a different form, or present in a different form. So I knew that I was going to be collecting Last Ride of the Four Horsemen early in 2021, and Gavin gave me an amazing cover. Rando is working on cover number 2 for the hardcover. We're actually doing our first hardcover collected edition in February.
Wow.
It's an oversized hardcover. We did a hardcover edition of our Squared Circle comic, Gangrel the Vampire Warrior, and it turned out so well that we're going to be doing a lot more of those going forward.
Wait a minute, you said your first hardcover is in February?
Yeah.
This coming February?
Yeah.
Oh, so Last Ride will be soft and hardcover, or just hardcover?
Yes. I'll have a soft cover version and a hardcover version, 2 different covers.
Okay. There you go. I put both of our links in the chat. I forgot I could do that. That's
yeah. It was, but as far as that schedule that we were talking about in the note, it was more a function of deciding that I was going to expand on properties that we've been developing that have had some success and focusing down on those instead of adding new things.
Right.
And we talked about this at the time, taking and building 10 products that people like, brands that people like, and giving them more of it, making it better, and building that fan base, and then nurturing the people that support it with better products that they're going to enjoy and want to see more of this character, like Vicious Circus for us, like Last Ride of the Four Horsemen. And know you've got things coming that you're planning to build into that.
Very cool. Yeah, this is the same. Like we talked about. I've obviously Deep Space Strategy is the complete series. There is nothing after it. But I'm kind of poking Mike. I'm like saying, hey, let's get this. He has an idea for a one shot. I'm like, come on, Mike, let's do it. Let's do this one shot. Let's give some. There is a fan base for Deep Space Strategy. Now I don't want to give them something.
Yep, that's what I did with Last Ride of the issue 0 that we put together. And the response has been so good. I'm going to continue it on an ongoing basis. It's I've got one writing project on my desk right now, the last issue of The Absentee that Rando's drawing, and then I'm going to get back on Last Ride of the Four Horsemen and release at least 4 issues a year. It's my target.
4 issues of Four Horsemen, or 4 issues just in general?
4 issues of Last Ride of the Four Horsemen.
Holy moly! Wow.
Same with Vicious Circus.
And I'm going to mention this. I know it's not really the focus of today's topic, but this isn't the only brand you represent. You and John Crowther do the Squared Circle comics as well. So your desk has got to be getting pretty full of a lot of things you have going on.
Yeah, as a government bureaucrat, I'm very well versed in organizing projects and keeping them flowing without me having to babysit them every day. So things are going well. We're in good shape. We're in very good shape.
Can I ask what the next wrestling book that's going to be coming up is, or is that a secret?
No, nothing's a secret. It's Bobby Fulton and the Fantastics #2 that we're going to try to release on January 31st.
Oh my word! Another one. Okay.
Yeah, and that also will be a hardcover collection of the 2 issues, or we'll have a floppy version of issue 2 for people who got issue 1.
Okay.
But I'm super excited. Beautiful covers. Rando's working on a cover for that as well. Keeping him busy, keeping him very busy. You can see why from the work that he does.
Yeah, very cool. So, and I think the interiors on that is Javier Lugo, correct? Or
yes, all done, and he's done a killer job. I got the first colored pages back yesterday. It looks amazing. We're all very excited.
Very cool. That's great. That's great. So that's a whole separate thing that you have running over there. But I highly recommend, if anybody's into wrestling. I'm not a big wrestling guy. I'm not a wrestling guy. My wrestling goes back to, I think I have this here. I met this guy, Bugsy McGraw, which I think you guys.
Bugsy's awesome.
You guys, this is where my wrestling begins and ends. Like, Dusty Rhodes and all those Florida guys back in the day. But for fans of wrestling, you guys are putting out the ultimate product. They're all biography comics. You have one encyclopedia out. I know there's talk of a second one coming. Wow, Wow, you really have your year planned out, don't you? You're already talking November and here.
3 years.
That's great. That's great,
Thanks
man.
for Vero Beach. 3 years, man.
That's great. And the again, I would love to ask you what your convention schedule is for this year, but I'm watching shows canceling left and right, so I don't.
I have 2. We'll be in Huntsville, Alabama in April. They did hold their convention in July. Our buddy Jeremy Long runs that show, and it will go forward. We had a great time. They had some good sales, and we're looking forward to it. And then we'll be hopefully at Infinity Con in June.
That's right, Infinity David show. Yeah, that was as far as comic shows, that was probably the best show we did in 2019.
That was a great show.
Yeah, it was surprisingly good. I did not expect. I mean, I'm sure I knew Dave was going to put on a great show. I didn't say anything bad about David. I knew he was going to put on a great show. I just did not expect the crowd that came out, and they were hungry for product. It was yeah.
We sold books, a ton of books that day. We usually sell a lot of prints too, but it was all books that day, and that is so gratifying, so much fun to put the books.
Well, I was an amusing story from that show was you have the pitch for your books. Each book has its own little pitch. We have a lot of titles, Cosmic Titles.
Sure.
And there's a guy that comes to the table and he says, "What's this book about?" And I tell him. He goes, "What's this book about?" And I tell him. And he goes, "What's this book about?" I look at my son and he's like, "Yeah, I know." And I tell him. And then I tell him the story of each of the titles. And he's like, "All right, I'll take them all." He just bought one of everything on the table.
Well, there you go.
Oh, because you figure this guy's just making me pitch for the fun of it. But he bought the whole. He's like, "How much for one of everything?" Like, take 20% off. There you go. So that was a great experience. It has not happened in about 2 years. So that was a good thing to have happen at that show. And also, I mean, I'll put it out here right now. If you want to come down, it's a 1-day show this year, but you're more than welcome. We're going to be trying to do PalmCon again. If you want to come down, you're more than welcome to, if your schedule allows for it. I'm not putting you on the spot.
What's the date?
The date is posted. It is October 2nd, 2021. The deposit's been made at the conventions it's at the original venue, not the big convention center. It's back at the American Polish Club. This is our 10th anniversary. I did the first one. It's hard to believe in 2011. And so this will be the 10th anniversary of doing that first event. So I figured, we're in the middle of a pandemic. That's a great time to do a Comic-Con. So I went ahead and pulled the trigger, made the deposit at the Polish Club, and yeah, if you're available, we'll talk about it off the air. But if you're
put us down. Any reason to come to West Palm, we'll be there.
Sounds good. It was just a good segue to drop it in there. That to let people know that PalmCon is happening. It's palmcon.net. I think it's going to have maybe 48 or 54 tables. We already have 18 claimed, so we're on our way. Hopefully it'll be a good show. I haven't done it in 4 years. This will be the first con I've run in 4 years, but I encourage everybody, of course, to come out. Plug. And speaking of plug, your Kickstarter, when does Vicious Circus wrap up? It's like in 4 or 5 days.
Tonight, 8 p.m. Central, next Sunday. So we got 7 full days left. Yeah. And
you and Amanda will do a live stream at that point to celebrate the conclusion.
I don't think we will that night. No, I think I may be traveling that day. So.
Oh, right. Yes. Oh, we'll talk about that off air too. We need to talk about you coming down to heading south as well. So make sure after this wraps up, you stay on for a little bit so we can chat.
Sure.
About it. All right. So if they want to find out more, I think we've covered everything, right? Something else?
I think so.
Cool.
Yeah.
So if they want to find out more about you, go to inversepress.com, right? That's the hub.
Inversepress.com for our main line of comics: The Vicious Circus, The Absentee, Last Ride of the Four Horsemen, Erica Heflin's Flesh of White, The Black Hand, and Antithesis. Yeah, that's where the bulk of our comics live, and our crossover product, Scales of Time, also.
Right. And so all that's on inversepress.com. You can find links to all of your social media, I'm sure, there as well.
And then for wrestling comics, go to wrestlingcomics.com.
Okay, sorry, I don't have a logo for that. Sorry, I didn't.
That's fine.
And that you keep that separate.
Remember.
If you go to Inverse Press, there's nothing for the squared circle stuff on there.
The wrestling comics. Some of the wrestling comics are there.
Okay.
But as the brands grow in their own direction, I was lucky enough to get the URL wrestlingcomics.com, and so for search engine optimization purposes, I split it all. Yeah. We've had some success there.
So you're talking to a guy who can't even get the URL for his own company. CosmicTimes.com is owned by somebody who wants $10,000 for it. I just refuse to pay it. So we've been CosmicTimes.net for years. I think we're just going to stay.
Good old cyber squatters. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I know. I don't even know who it is. It's why somebody would pick that and put it online for $10,000. You can have it. But so that's. I'm at CosmicTimes.net. You want to find out more what I'm doing, go to CosmicTimes.net. Make sure you hit up our Kickstarter. It launches the Deep Space Strategy Collector's Box with a new and improved Kickstarter page, aided by the guidance of Qui-Gon Jinn right over here, the guru of Kickstarter, who helped me tighten that page up a little bit. So hopefully it'll be something everybody's excited about when it launches on January 12th. And don't forget, we'll do that crossover where you can get Deep Space. If you back Vicious Circus and you back Deep Space Tragedy, you will get this. Let me try this again. Technology. You will get this awesome print by Rando Dixon. And so you back Vicious Circus, and you come over and back Deep Space Tragedy on the 12th. You get this print. It'll be included in your Vicious Circus box. It'll be autographed by Rando Dixon. And you also have the potential to add on the original art for this piece for just $100 on your Vicious Circus campaign. So that's a great thing to think about. Please back both of our projects. Please support independent comics. I always say you'll find some of the best independent comics living on Kickstarter right now, because you're not going to find them at conventions. You find them at the Kickstarter right now. That's where the future to me of comics is, or the future at least of independent comics. Speaking of conventions, I should drop this in here. Next weekend on the 17th, John Crowther, the Square Circle Comics guy that writes all those wrestling comics, is going to be at the DeLand show it's kind of the central northern Florida. So make sure you look up that. I'm sure there'll be links on social media and whatnot. So make sure you find John. He's going to be there. They'll be selling the wrestling comikics. Is he going to be there with the wrestler? Do you know?
I think he's there with Bugsy.
Oh, you got to go. You got to. This guy. I'm kidding. When I was a kid, he would eat the turnbuckles. That was his thing. It was great. When I had the chance to meet him, I was just floored. As a kid growing up, Florida wrestling was everything. It was Dusty Rhodes, Bugsy McGraw, Barry Windham, all these guys who hopefully you'll write comics about. And yeah, so that's my wrestling. Again, that's where you find us, CosmicTimes.net. For me, InversePress.com for Kevin. And I think we'll wrap it up here. Like I said, stay on the line after we end the broadcast because I want to chat with you a little bit longer. But thank you, everybody, for watching this video.
Thanks, everyone.
Yes, and back our projects. And, hey, stay cosmic, everybody. Good night.
Good night.